Okay, let's dive in. So picture this meticulously planned community, Shaker Heights, Ohio. Every lawn is perfect, houses just so life feels well designed.
Completely curated. Yeah.
And then boom, the opening scene of Celeste Ng's Little Fires Everywhere. That perfect world, one of the main family's houses, is literally going up in smoke.
And what's so striking right off the bat is that image. The house burning and the suspicion immediately falling on the youngest daughter, Izzy.
The wild card.
Exactly. It's such a stark contrast to the perfection all around her. And it instantly makes you ask, what kind of hidden tensions, what little fires are burning just beneath that orderly surface?
Right. And that's our mission today. We're going deep into this novel, peeling back the layers of this seemingly ideal place and the lives that collide within it.
We want to explore how these small choices people make, their deep beliefs, simmering resentments, how they all sort of snowball.
Yeah, how they ignite these huge changes, leading to that, well, fiery conclusion. So let's start with Shaker Heights itself. It's really more than just a setting in this book, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's practically a character in its own right. It was one of the first planned communities in the U.S.
Right, with that motto. Most communities just happen, the best are planned.
And you feel that philosophy in everything M describes. The city ads showing it in the clouds, the super strict rules.
Like the dedicated tree lawns hiding the garbage cans.
Yeah.
They even had special scooters to collect them, right?
Yeah, and even approved paint colors. For the houses, only Tudor, English, or French style allowed. It's all about control.
This whole emphasis on order and regulation, the father of order, as the book says, it's aiming to create this patch of heaven on earth.
A refuge from chaos. And the people living there, they genuinely seem to believe they're, smarter, wiser, more thoughtful, the most enlightened. But that relentless drive for perfection, it creates this culture where appearances are everything. Anything that disrupts the harmony, anything different.
It's viewed with suspicion or just swept under the rug.
Exactly, suppressed.
And right into this meticulously ordered world, we get the Richardson family. On the surface, they seem to be the Shaker ideal.
Totally. Mrs. Richardson especially, with her orderly and regimented life.
The measured Cheerios, the one glass of wine, weekly aerobics, her whole life plan followed scrupulously.
But like you said, right from page 1, with the house on fire and everyone pointing fingers at Izzy.
The freshman, the black sheep, the wild card.
Ng shows us immediately the cracks are already there, deep inside this supposedly perfect family unit.
Which raises that big question. What happens when individual desires or secrets or just unconventional ways of living challenge this carefully built order?
Right, because despite all their wealth, the multiple cars, the big wedding receptions, Ng makes a point of saying the Richardsons are deep down basically pretty much like people everywhere else in America.
Their underlying human stuff is still there.
Yeah, the affluence, the perfect house, it doesn't shield them from complexity or, internal chaos. The plan doesn't guarantee a perfect life.
Okay, so the stage is set, and then Mia and Pearl arrive. This is where things really start to heat up, isn't it?
Definitely. Mia Warren, this unconventional artist, and her daughter Pearl, they become tenants in the Richardsons' rental house, and their arrival is the real catalyst.
Their introduction to Shaker Heights is literally learning the rules, like getting that polite but firm letter and a $100 charge because their lawn was mowed.
Over 6 inches. It's such a small detail, but it speaks volumes. It's the immediate clash between Mia's transient, more adaptable life and Shaker's rigid, documented order.
Yeah, and Mia's whole approach to her art feels like a rebellion against that order.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for her life. She uses double exposure, layers images, keeps only the photos she likes, and destroys the negatives. Famously says, I'm not interested in syndication.
Right. She doesn't want copies, doesn't want it controlled or owned in that way.
Exactly. And remember that story about her spending a month doing self-portraits with masks, only to burn them all? Pearl couldn't understand it.
It's this rejection of permanence, of being tied down, which mirrors her nomadic life, moving from place to place, taking side jobs.
House cleaning, working at the Lucky Palace, whatever it took. It's born from necessity, sure, but it's also a choice. A stark contrast to Shaker, where everything is about keeping, preserving, owning.
And Pearl's experience just throws that contrast into sharp relief. She's just thrilled to have her own room for the first time.
Yeah, after a childhood of, finicky stoves in Urbana, weed-choked gardens in Ocala.
And that painful memory of pretending another girl's room was hers. You really feel her longing for stability.
You do. And Mia's knack for repurposing things, old rice, old sheets. It highlights their resourcefulness, finding value where Shaker might just see something to discard. It challenges that consumerist ideal.
This whole lifestyle, which Moody, the Richardson son, kind of romanticizes at first,
Yeah, he sees the freedom in it.
it stands in total opposition to Mrs. Richardson's need for control, for stability. She sees renting them the house almost as charity.
Right, a low-cost place for deserving people.
Right.
She positions herself as the benefactor.
But Mia's independence, her refusal to just fit in, her disaffection with the rules, Mrs. Richardson finds her perturbing, but strangely compelling.
Even calls her a dangerous beast she needs to keep an eye on. It really shows how privilege can mask this deep need for control and how otherness feels threatening to that carefully built world.
Okay, so the tension is building, and then comes the event that really splits the community and the families, the custody battle.
Ah, yes. This is central. It starts with the McCulloughs, who are close friends of Mrs. Richardson.
And Lynn McCullough has gone through so much loss, multiple miscarriages, a stillbirth. Her desire for a child is just immense.
Absolutely heartbreaking. And then they adopt baby Mei Ling, renaming her Mirabelle, and everyone, like Lexi Richardson, is just smitten.
Gushing over the baby, it seems like a purely happy ending.
At first, but Nang complicates it immediately. Bei Cho, who works with Mia at the Chinese restaurant.
She reveals she's Mei Ling's biological mother.
And her story isn't one of neglect, but of absolute gut-wrenching desperation. The baby's father left. She had no money for anything. She was literally found unconscious from hunger and dehydration.
Leaving the baby at the fire station, wrapped in everything she owned for her.
Yeah.
It was an act of desperation to save her, not abandonment.
Exactly. Ng forces us to look beyond simple judgments, to see the crushing socioeconomic factors behind such a choice.
And the custody battle that follows just rips through everyone. It divides the Richardson family right down the middle.
It really exposes their fault lines. Lexi and her mother side with the McCulloughs, focusing on the stable home, the love Mirabelle has now.
While Moody and Izzy side with Baby. Their argument is simple. She's the mom. They're not. Biology and intent versus current circumstance.
Even other families are divided. Remember Brian's mother questioning if cross-racial adoption truly breaks the cycle of poverty.
It raises such difficult questions.
And the core legal and ethical question Ng poses is profound. What made someone a mother? Was it biology alone, or was it love?
But it gets even more complex, doesn't it?
Yes. Ed Lim, Baby's lawyer, brings up cultural identity. He challenges Mrs. McCullough about connecting Mirabelle to her Chinese heritage.
And the McCulloughs admit they haven't really done much. A vague plan for a heritage trip later, but mostly blonde dolls, no Chinese books.
They default to this generic American girl identity. It raises crucial questions about transracial adoption. Is love enough? Or does true care mean actively nurturing a child's cultural roots, especially when they're different from your own?
So as this custody battle rages, Mrs. Richardson's unease about Mia morphs into something else entirely.
Yeah, it becomes an obsession, an investigation. It starts innocently enough with Izzy asking about a photo Mia was in.
The Pauline Hawthorne photograph.
Right, but Mrs. Richardson uses her journalistic skills and, let's be honest, increasingly questionable ethics to dig into Mia's past. She finds out Mia used to be Mia Wright.
It stops being about the custody case and becomes about digging up dirt on Mia herself.
Definitely. Her motivation is complex. Loyalty to Linda, yes. But also that deep, dark discomfort with Mia, this woman who seemed to enjoy flaunting the normal order.
And it leads her to betray her college roommate's trust to get information from an abortion clinic.
She first thinks Bebby had an abortion, then later uses those records unethically, thinking she's uncovered proof Pearl had one. She tells herself she'd never use the information, but you see her justifications crumbling.
And while she's doing that, the secrets within her own family are exploding.
Oh, absolutely. Lexi finds herself pregnant by her boyfriend, Brian.
And terrified of the judgment from Shaker Heights, from her parents. Brian's fear was Cliff and Claire killing me.
So Lexi has an abortion, but uses Pearl's name. It's a devastating choice driven by fear.
And Mia, ironically, is the one who offers Lexi support, not judgment.
Yeah, Mia asks her that incredibly empathetic question. Would you have been ready to be a good mother? The kind a child deserves. It's a moment of grace, completely unlike what Lexi expects from her own world.
But the secrets keep unraveling. Moody, furious about Pearl and Tripp.
He lashes out at his mother, implying Pearl had the abortion, saying something cruel like she deserved it.
Which Mrs. Richardson misinterprets, confirming her suspicions about Pearl. And Izzy, Always watching.
Always seeing the hypocrisy. She figures out Lexi's lie, Moody's betrayal. It just fuels her sense of injustice.
And Mrs. Richardson's digging finally leads her to Mia's parents, the Wrights, and the truth comes out.
The big one. Mia wasn't just Mia Wright. She was a surrogate for a wealthy couple, the Ryans.
After her brother Warren died, her parents couldn't accept her decision. They saw it as selling her own child and basically disowned her.
So Mia, unable to give up the baby she carried, fled with Pearl.
Wow. And suddenly Mia's fierce protection of Pearl, her deep empathy for Bebe, it all clicks into place. She understands motherhood in ways Mrs. Richardson, with her neat plans, cannot comprehend.
Exactly. And all these threads, the betrayals, the secrets, the injustices, Mia's story, Lexi's story, Baby's story, they all converge back onto Izzy.
Feeling totally alienated, betrayed by her own family, seeing their hypocrisy laid bare.
And inspired by Mia's words about needing to burn things down sometimes. Scorched earth, to start over from scratch.
She does it. She sets the fires.
Those literal little fires.
Yeah.
It's this incredibly symbolic act, trying to burn down the bars of her perfect, suffocating Shaker Heights life.
A desperate attempt to force truth onto a world built on secrets. So there you have it, a community built on a rigid plan, a family striving for that impossible perfection.
And all the little fires underneath, exposing the messy, complicated reality.
From Shaker's rules to Mia and Pearl's fluid lives, this deep dive really shows how our choices, our secrets, our loyalties, they can spark these huge, unforeseen consequences.
Yeah, and it really highlights how even, seemingly good intentions can clash so dramatically. Mrs. Richardson's desire for order, the McCullough's deep longing for a child, these aren't bad things in themselves, but they get tangled up in these ethical knots, personal biases, blind spots. It really forces you, the reader, to question, what is a good life? What makes a good parent?
It pushes back against easy answers.
Definitely. It makes you think about the narratives we construct for ourselves and about others, and how often they protect our own comfort zones instead of facing hard truths.
And of course, you, our listener, you're part of this conversation too. What stood out to you as we unpack this? Did it challenge any of your assumptions about the book, or maybe about society?
Ng's story is such a powerful reminder that sometimes the most rigid structures, the ones that look the most perfect on the outside,
They can be the most fragile.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. In a world that often really prizes order and predictability, how much messiness, how much complexity are we truly willing to tolerate in our communities and maybe even in our own families? And what is it that really makes a house a home, especially when secrets are part of the foundation?